like payroll, HR only cares about software delivery operations when it breaks and may not ever think about how it all works, how those apps get to their desktop. SAP's James Harvey is back, as he promised, to tell us why it's so important. Welcome to Firing Line. I'm Bill Kutik. If you watched his earlier episode on the Software Factory, you may remember James is SVP and Head of Development and Operations for SAP SuccessFactors, which makes him responsible for one of the largest HCM operations in the world. He spent more than a decade in HCM and financials for PeopleSoft, Taleo, and Oracle. Hello, James. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me back.
James, I'm sort of astounded that so few people think about what you actually do in operations. Because the fact is, software delivery operations is what put the word service in SaaS, software as a service. And really, you have these data centers all over the world, right?
Yes.
And each one is a cloud. When people ask, what is the cloud? Well, you know, it's a building with great electricity and air conditioning and guys running around in it looking after computers. So tell us about it.
I think one of the most interesting things that if you were to meet folks in cloud operations is that they don't think of themselves as working for a software company. They think of themselves as operating a service as service workers, providing a service to customers. I think that's really important in the mindset, super important, because these folks have to operate 24/7, 365 days a year, all around the globe, and they take that responsibility very, very serious. And if you look at some of the use cases that are starting to emerge in HR technology, and these use cases are touching the business. These use cases affect lives. So as an example, one of our customers is an energy company, and they operate offshore oil rigs. Now, what's interesting is that they use contractors heavily on these offshore oil rigs, and those oil rigs are becoming more and more driven by software. So as they update that software that's managing the equipment, then the contractors have to be trained on that. So they use LMS technology in order to train those contractors. They'll put them on a helicopter and fly them out to actually work that particular rig.
So it's just-in-time training onshore before they get put on this incredibly complicated piece of machinery.
That's right. That can be very dangerous if not operated correctly, as we've seen in the Gulf of Mexico recently. And of course, they made the movie
Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
Scary.
Yeah. So it's important, and the stakes are high.
So operations can be life and death.
Big impact.
God, who would ever imagine? So tell us, you've been on the job for less than a year. Tell us how operations has changed during that time.
Yeah, I think in a couple of areas. I think number one, across all cloud businesses, regardless if it's finance or HR or if it's IT operations, customers do not want downtime. Their expectations are for you to have the service always available. For one of the reasons I just mentioned. So I think that those expectations are really increasing very rapidly. And then of course, that's a major focus for us as well. And I think the second thing is there's new emerging technology like machine learning, which is really, we've already employed it in our operation centers. And this is stuff these are learning algorithms that are seeing patterns and detecting things in software that are happening before humans ever see them. And it's allowing us to get much more proactive.
But from the beginning of SaaS, I remember there was always scheduled downtime because your guys had to work on the software or they had to put the new version in it or whatever. Is that changing or not?
Well, we still have to do updates to the software. What is changing, though, is that new technologies are allowing us to actually make changes to the software, do maintenance to the software, and not take it down. So the software remains running, and there's all sorts of ways of how we can do this with technology so that we make changes all the time and the customer doesn't know and they shouldn't have to know.
So I have to give up my favorite cliche, which is changing the tires on your car while roaring at 75 miles an hour down the freeway?
We do that.
Because you do that.
That's what we do.
I hate that. That's amazing.
Yes.
So what are the areas within HR that require uptime the most?
I think there's really two categories. There's only one service within category A, which is, it is absolutely beyond mission critical, and that's payroll. You cannot miss payroll, particularly if you have hourly employees, but really for anybody, you can't miss your payroll. I mean, impact of that to a company would be massive. The second two services, though, I think fall into a business operations category, and we tend to see products like learning management. We gave the example there. In retail, recruiting, these are products that are deeply embedded within business operations, and if those products become unavailable or they go down, then you're actually really disrupting the business itself.
And given the turnover rate in retail, if they can't be constantly recruiting, they're losing money.
That's right.
They're losing sales.
And that's why when you are looking at solutions in those two categories, you want to really do your homework before you go into RFP, et cetera, to understand what are the requirements of your business and when are they sensitive to actually maintenance.
James, well, you just told me so much that I've been pretending for years that I knew about, and now I actually do. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great. Don't miss next month's episode of Firing Line. Just click on the red subscribe box at the end. You'll get just one email notice, just one, when the next program has posted. Write your comments on this YouTube page, where you are right now, on our Facebook page, or send us an old-fashioned email to bill@kutik.com. We want to know what you're thinking. I'm Bill Kutik. Thank you for watching.